Hello, my friend. Welcome to this week's episode of As It Relates to Podcasting. I am Simona, and I'm so grateful that you are here today joining me for this conversation where we're going to be talking about recording essentials. So we're going to dive deep into it, and I'm excited to get into this conversation. Before we do so, I would love to invite you to my Discord community. You can find the link to that in the show notes below and join us over there for an amazing conversation about all things podcasting. We talk about our new shows. We talk about things we're working on, things we're struggling with. We're talking about questions, answers. If anyone has solutions to problems that we're facing within the industry, there's a space for find a guest, be a guest, to share what you're working on, and so much more. So be sure to check out the Discord community. The link for that is in the show notes below. And I also have a membership community that is $11 a month that I am so excited for you to be a part of. It's called Podcast Success Vault. And in that membership, it is all templates and just different documents and assets that you need to help you launch, manage, grow, monetize, and just produce your show. So be sure to check that out in the show notes below. We are talking today about recording essentials. And the first thing that I want to touch on is setting up your recording space. I think it goes without saying that making sure that you have a quiet space is key, and making sure that your recording environment is very well organized. Having a quiet space is crucial for high quality podcasting because background noise can get very, very, very distracting. Having a well-organized space minimizes having distractions, helps you focus, and improves the overall recording quality and overall production quality. It'll make your editing journey way, way, way easier as well. Now, we're going to talk a little bit about software and equipment and stuff like that, but I think it goes without saying that having a good microphone is key. Making sure that you have a microphone that suits the space that you're in is also really key. There's a few different things that I recommend. There's a few different tips I have for reducing that background noise and echo in your space as well. Making sure that you're using different soundproofing materials where you need to. So whether that's putting, panels, foam panels on your wall, or having curtains that are a little bit thicker that absorb sound, or even, having a carpet beneath you, putting some pillows or blankets around you when you're recording. Like, I always have a blanket on my lap when I'm recording, mostly for comfort purposes, let's be honest, but also to help with the sound, and making sure that you're reducing and minimizing the amount of hard spaces that you have. So you want to choose a room that has minimal external noise, that's away from traffic or appliances or alarms or all that kind of stuff, which I know isn't always possible. But then I would look at, how do we treat the space to make sure that it helps with the sound and that it's not sounding echoey and chaotic, and it's actually sounding nice and good and crisp and clean. So picking your space is very, very key. And then also making sure that you have somewhere where you can kind of keep your equipment set up, and you don't have to always take it up and put it down and this and that, because that will also affect the sound quality, and it'll affect the consistency of your sound quality if you're constantly having to take things, move them around, set up a microphone, set up a this, set up a that. So if you can and you're able to, find a space where you can set up your equipment where it's nice and it's quiet and there's not a lot of background noise, because that will help you significantly. The next piece I want to touch on here is recording software. So there are so many different recording softwares to use. I'm going to share some of my favorites with you. I also have a free guide on my website, which you can grab at the link in the show notes, that takes you through all of my specific recommended software for editing and recording, microphone types, headphones, like all that stuff. Today, we're going to go a little bit more high level, but I want you to consider the free versions versus the paid versions. Both are good. It really just depends on what your goals are and what you're trying to create and what you're producing. Now, when it comes to recording software, if you're doing audio only, you can record in Audacity for a PC or GarageBand for a Mac. And you can also record. And if you're doing video for free, you can do Zencaster or Zoom. I really don't recommend Zoom, to be honest with you. I don't like the quality that it provides. That said, if the tech is an issue for you, it's better to just kind of get started and get your feet wet than try and figure out all this fancy tech that you may not be able to navigate or might not want to navigate in this current moment. So those would be my 3 free options. When it comes to the paid side, I absolutely love Riverside FM. It is the platform that I use. It is the one that I always use. I know sometimes people have trouble with it, but I absolutely love it. And so I think that you should highly consider checking it out as well. There's a link for that on my website too, in case you wanted to go direct and check it out there. But ultimately, recording software all offers their own features and their own capabilities and all kinds of skill levels and different budgets. So you want to think about, what is it that you're producing? What's the quality of what you are producing? And how are you going to now take that and put it on a recording platform that's going to make the most sense for you? Now, I want you to think about your recording and your editing requirements. Free options are often suitable for beginners and very simple podcasts, while having a paid software is a little bit better for those advanced features and for people who are looking to kick it up a notch as well. But you want to make sure that what you're using is user-friendly and that it's compatible with the other operating systems that you have. So it's compatible with your computer and all that. I also want to talk a little bit about cameras, okay? Just for a second. You can find my full recommendations in that document that you can download from my website. I'm recording this currently using a Logi webcam, a Logi Stream 1, and I love, love, love that camera. It's simple and it's easy, and it gives you good picture, good quality picture for very minimal price. Now, when I'm recording in studio, and typically when I'm recording this podcast with a guest, I'm recording it off of my Sony ZV-E10, and I love that camera. The quality on it is amazing. The end product is amazing. So I highly recommend that you check out both and see what fits your needs, because it's okay to start simple, and it's okay to also start with a bang if you want to, right? But making sure that whatever equipment that you're using and the technology that you have is suitable for you and for what you are trying to create. Now, I want to go a little bit into some editing software really quickly here. There are so many different editing softwares, and I feel like there's always new softwares coming out over and over and over again, especially with AI and especially with new technology. There's so many different things that you can do. Now, you can edit in Audacity, you can edit in GarageBand, you can edit in iMovie, you can edit in Final Cut Pro, wherever. I personally like to do all of my editing in Descript. I have a link for that as well on my website, so you can check it out and you can try it out. I think it's such an incredible platform, makes your life so much easier. It pulls a transcript for you. This is how we create clips and quotes and show notes and all kinds of things, and it takes the production time, like literally cuts it in half. So I highly recommend that. And when you're editing, I want you to think about a few basic editing techniques that I think are really, really, really important to consider. Now, when you're editing your podcast episode, remember these very quick tips, okay? You can do basic trimming, basic cutting, and rearranging of your audio pieces. Add your intro, add your outro, remove your ums and all of that. You can also remove your mistakes, your stammers, your pauses, anytime you need to stop and pick up your thought again, and any background noise as well. So editing can be as intense as you want it to be, or it can be as simple as you want it to be. It is really up to you, the preference of the show that you're trying to create, and the ultimate end product of that podcast. So that is really key as well. And the last thing that I want to talk about here is your microphones and headphones. So making sure, again, like I said before, that you have a quality microphone significantly improves the audio clarity and the audio quality. And I think it's really important to use a microphone that is good and invest in a microphone if you can, because it enhances your podcast's professionalism. And it also helps your listener experience because it's more enjoyable for your listener on the other end. There's all kinds of microphones that you can choose from. Dynamic microphones are durable and they work really well in noisy environments. Condenser microphones capture a lot more detail, but they require having a way quieter space and taking the time to set up the audio properly. And then I have a dynamic microphone with a USB plug, which is way easier and is user-friendly, versus XLR microphones offer more control because you can plug them into an audio interface. But again, it's not overly necessary, just depending on where you're at in your podcast journey. The last thing that I want to talk about too is making sure that you are using your headphones. Headphones capture clean audio without background noise. This is particularly important when you're doing a guest interview, so the sound is not reverbing between both your microphones, that it's not jumping between your computers, and making sure that you're also using headphones while you're editing your content, because it helps you identify and correct little imperfections as you're going through that you may not necessarily hear with just your ears. Closed back headphones are ideal for noise isolation during recording, and open backs are good too. That's what I use. I prefer them because I like to hear what's going on around me. So these are my tips for you for recording software, editing software. Let me know what you learned in this episode today. Be sure to connect with me on social media. Give me a follow. Share this episode on your stories and tag me so I know you're listening, and share it with another creator that you know needs to hear this message and who might find this very helpful and valuable. And until then, I hope you have a beautiful day, and I will see you on the next one.